Okay, Stanley cup. This is my Stanley little cooking cup. I've seen videos online of these. When I finally put up the title, I'll put up the right name of the cup. I don't know the exact name offhand, but that way you know everybody can find the video. And there's plenty of videos out there, so I'm not doing anything special with this, with making a video on this. But it's just my 2 cents on this cup, and it's also at the same time doing a video on basically like a hobo stove that I made for it. Some other people out there have videos of the cup and also videos of a stove that they made to go with it. I feel like this is the absolute best combo that I've come up with for a wood burning stove that goes well with the Stanley cup. And I'll go over a brief example of how I made this stove. But if anyone has better options or a link to a better video, let me know if you guys think it's better. And mine's not that good, but for my needs, it works really well. As you can see from the patina in the can that I used to make the stove. I've used it already, so it's not like I have not used it, and it works really well. And I think this is an awesome combo because if you notice, it's the Stanley is inside and it does not fall out. I have my finger on the lid because I don't want the stuff to fall out. I'll show you why in a minute. But it does not fall out. It stays together very well, and it's a really good combo for throwing your backpack in case you gotta, you can burn some wood or a survival setup. This was really cool. It saved me a lot of money and works really well. So let me take it apart and I'll show you what's in the can and how it's all done. So here is the can and the cup when they come apart. Because the coffee can that I used is almost the exact same size as the thickest point on the cup, which is, you can see here, it's a bit thicker. Right, let me get this thing to focus. Here we go. It's a bit thicker right in here than that is here, and the can is just about the right size. But because it's thicker there and it has this part here that pops out to hold the handle, that made it to where when I made my can, I had to put a little bend right there, and that's where that sits in. And it actually works out really well because that helps to hold the cup together. If you notice my hobo stove from other hobo stoves, one thing I will point out is I left this on. A lot of people cut this part off. I feel it added more strength and durability. This is a can, you can make another one, but I feel like if it's gonna last you longer, why not? If it can last long and you don't have to make one for a while, why not? So I'll go back to the can in a second. Let me finish off the Stanley cup. It is dirty. I just went camping and some coffee boiled over, and that's what you see on there. It's just coffee, it's not dirt or mud or anything like that. It's not like I don't wash it. I left it on there just so that people can see that I do use my cup. I think it's very well made. This lid here fits perfect. It has holes on the top for so it can vent while it's boiling, but I feel like those holes are also there to help you pour things out, which is something I don't think anyone has mentioned. But this comes on the top. This handle folds over and it adds actual pressure. You can hear how it has like an actual pressure to hold the lid down. So in my opinion, I feel, and notice how the lid closes. I'm trying to do this one-handed. When you close the lid like this, like so, it keeps the lid from spinning away. Well, if you think about it, if you were to put a finger, if it was not too cold or you had a towel or something, you came in here with a towel, it's basically like a strainer. You could pour something out of there like a strainer, you see? And I think that's one of the uses for that, even though it doesn't even say in the instructions that that's what it is. At least I didn't notice it. The handle folds over very easily, and it has a very firm clip. When it clips with authority. It doesn't feel like it's going to go anywhere. And then you pinch right here to go back up and to close it. And again, and you can see how it comes back up, and you'll feel it snap closed, and you'll also feel it snap open. Watch. See? This slides forward to keep the handle from accidentally being closed when you're picking it up. This little bar keeps you from being able to pinch this shut. It's like a little safety piece there. Notice one thing about this cup. These are actual rivets that hold on the handle. It's not one of those little funky, just, you know, soldering little taps to keep it on. And I'll have something here for an example. I have this little coffee pot that I bought from Walmart, real cheap. These are the ones I'm talking about. Now, look at how that handle's put on. Very, very cheap, no quality to that. That's gonna pop off one day for sure. And I knew that when I bought it. I just bought it for a quick use. And if you can see, that type of setup is on everything, everywhere. That's not gonna last. Sure, the metal might last, but the actual build is, the quality is not there. This is actually riveted on really, really well. The cup is pretty tall. Inside of this cup, I can fit 2 cans of chili, your regular chili or soup, your normal size can, about 2 of them. It has your measuring on the outside for whatever you got to do. Stanley label, nice imprinted, so you can always see what it is. And I think it has some stuff on the bottom too. It does. It's so not legible no more, unless I cleaned it up. See if I can pick it up for you. No, it's not gonna work. Anyways, and it does clean up really nice. Now inside, what I did is, oh yeah, this flips up too to make it for when it's hot. A nice little lid for when it's hot to pick it up so you don't get burned. Inside, what I did to do my little setup, and it does come with 2 green double-walled cups that work really, really well. They keep your stuff very hot if you boil something, or if it keeps something very cold. It comes with 2 of those cups that aren't in here right now because, like I said, I just used it, so those cups are dirty, and I just put this in here real quick for you guys to see. These are some of the things that I keep in here, because this is basically my cooking setup when I go somewhere. Either being a little gas burner and cook with gas if I can't burn wood at the time, but I always have this for emergencies because why not? It fits together so easily. I bought this little spoon. I don't know, it was cheap. Works pretty good. I'm sure that spork wouldn't do anything, and whatever brand that is, it's from Walmart. Bottle opener, can opener, and that works pretty good. And this can opener has a pretty decent sharp edge on it, and it works pretty decent. Little multi-tool, little screwdriver, and I just keep it in there for an emergency spoon. And then this came with the Kershaw pack that I bought at Walmart, and if you like Kershaw or things of good value, like where you get more for your buck, this was really cool. This actually can clip on with retention, and this fork is now a lot better fork than this fork, but this is more of a multi-tool, so that's kind of cool. The spoon is nice, and it does have a bottle opener, and this works really nice. And it came with a knife. It came with this spoon and spork, or spoon and fork, the knife, and it came with something else. I can't remember what it was. But anyways, it was at Walmart on their outdoor shelves, and it was like 15 bucks, dude, with a knife and the spoon. And the knife's actually pretty decent. And then I have some generic little thing here that I keep. It's little multi stuff, you know, knife in case I gotta eat something, bottle openers, you know, I cook something, you know, little knife there. And this comes apart by twisting. Let me see if I can twist it real. Comes apart like that, and as you can see, this piece here, basically this little knob goes into that hole, and this little knob goes into that hole, and they go together. And then when you fold your fork back in, it locks the knob from being able to pull out. It's like a little locking mechanism in there. It's kind of clever, actually. And then you have a spoon and a fork, and that helps for cooking and whatever. And that's that right there. And I made this from a cheap little thing at what was it, Goodwill. I bought this at Goodwill. I cut off the handle so it would fit in there with the cup inside. So when I put the cup inside, this still fits in there. And I wanted something stainless, something cheap. I don't spend a lot of money, something that's gonna last. This is really hard, and the reason I made this, if you're wondering why I have it, is because I use it like a little spatula. If in case I have one of my little outdoor pans that I use sometimes, I can, you know, be cooking some fish and then flip it over. And to me that's important, so I made it, and whatever, it works good for me. I always have cotton balls with Vaseline on them to start a fire, and I always have a flint too. I don't have my flint here at the moment because it's in my backpack, But here's the cup from inside. The measuring symbols are on the inside too, which is very convenient, so you can also measure as you're pouring in. You can see what you're measuring. And there's the rivets I was talking about. Good construction. Has a nice rolled edge here, so if you're going to drink out of the cup, you're not going to cut yourself. It's not uncomfortable for your fingers. It's not going to cut into your materials and all those things. Very, very nice cup. I think it's very nice. And there's another beveled edge there. There's an edge there. Very well made, made out of stainless steel. The cup is not super cheap. I can't remember what I paid for it at Walmart, but that's where I bought it. I buy a lot of stuff at Walmart. Then the can, the Hobo stove. The Hobo stove, I simply took a coffee can that fit roughly the same size as the Stanley, and it goes inside. Now you can see that when I flip it over, a lot of people use their Hobo stoves like this. They have their Hobo stoves, and then they have all these little bars that they stick in so that they can put in, you know, something like this, these little metal bars, and it sits like that, and then their fire is actually down here. I don't like that. I don't like that construction, so I got rid of that. What I did is I took those kind of ideas of the Hobo stove, the classic Hobo stove, and I made something a little different that was very easy for me to make, and I feel is a much better design. I use my stove this way, and I usually burn somewhere where I know it's not going to be a problem. No matter what, if you use your stove this way and you're burning, your stuff is still going to get really hot and burn the surface. So no matter what, you're going to have to cook over something that's not going to burn. So what I like to do is put my stove this way. By leaving this edge of the can, it allowed for the can to remain strong. At first I had one opening on this side and one huge opening on this side to feed wood. From the beginning I had these screw holes. Then I added these screw holes here, or not screw holes, sorry, drill holes. I drilled some holes in there. And I added these in here for the top. And then I added this to become like a stove, like a stovetop. What I do is I like to start a little fire with some kindling and such. And then as I'm burning, this allows me to feed in wood from both sides. So if I'm burning something, I can be feeding in pretty good sized sticks inside the can as it's cooking. And by adding the hole that I said I added later, it allows me to feed in sticks from this side, and it makes a really nice flame. Notice this cup fits really well on there. It is very, very stable. I mean, very stable on there, and you can see that it gets a lot of contact of fire from all the holes that I left, but yet it still remains strong, so it's not going to bend and crack on you. And then some items, some things that I use that are much bigger, for example, it can handle this big cooktop right here, see? Well, the holes would be very covered, so that's where these come in handy, because then fire actually comes out of here and you still get heat. These allow for more oxygen to come in and feed the fire. If your fire starts building up and you start getting too much ash, this allows for more oxygen to get to your flame and keep it hot. And I've cooked some lake trout that I caught on this thing, and it was awesome in a little pan, and it worked really, really well. And yeah, that's my design. Just a drill bit. I think these are 1/2-inch holes, and then 1/4-inch holes down here, and just kind of, you know, spread them out. I mean, just by seeing my design, I'm sure it's pretty self-explanatory of how mine worked. The difference between mine is my Hobo stove, I use it this way. This eliminates the bars from having to hold your cookware from falling through, so that way you don't have to worry about losing bars or having more stuff that you have to carry. It works really well by leaving these in. This was also, I feel like, something I threw in and left in. This adds more strength and rigidity. The can, I don't know, I'm not sure what it is, just a coffee can. Works really, really well. It's got, I feel, good strength. I mean, I'm trying to crush it right now, and it doesn't crush. And I'm sure if I tried harder it could. I added this bend in here, like I said, to accommodate the little bulge of the handle, this little bracket piece. And then what else did I do? Yeah, and like I said, I used a 1/2-inch drill bit, a 1/4-inch drill bit. I used a little Dremel tool that I have in there to cut these squares. Very basic design. It's just a coffee can. It did have that little edge that some people have shown, and you can see that on another video of how to make a Hobo stove. This little edge that sticks out just slightly, and the little edge basically runs all the way around the can, And what I did is I just took some metal snips, and I just took my time and cut it out. And if anything was left, I basically just kind of took some pliers, and let me get this thing to focus. Hard to do this with one hand because I use my phone to film. I took and just kind of bent it in with some pliers. If anybody's curious, I'm filming this with a Galaxy Edge 7 is what I'm using. But anyway, yep, like that, and it works really well. And then I'll just show you real quick before I end the video of how this all works together. My Stanley cup with my Hobo stove setup. You would put your items inside the cup when you're done for carrying. You clip that down. God, this focus though. And then slide this up. Try to do one-handed. Bear with me. And that's the source of one hand is 1 second. You pick that up. I'm back. Some one-handed action is not very easy to do. Boom. So don't be in the woods with one hand trying to do this because that would suck. And then, like I said, that little area there is for that. So then all I do is put it in. Right there, you see that, how it's about to hit. But if I give it a little bit of wiggle, it'll go in very firmly. Now watch, see, it's in now. Boom. And it does not fall out. Makes for a very easy, convenient package. That's basically the size of a coffee can, and it's very light. So that's the way I did mine. If I ever see in the comments if someone wants me to show exactly how I did one of these, my little personal hobo stove, I could. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory, but hey, you know, some people want a nice video to show you exactly how. I can. It's very easy, and I'm sure I can make it a very short, easy to understand video. It's my hobo stove, my Stanley cup, and it works really well for backpacking. It's lightweight, and with a couple items, and I would throw in there a fire starter, a little flint steel. It's awesome package. So anyways, that's kind of my review on the Stanley cup, my hobo stove, and just my thoughts, you know. Hopefully it helps someone out. Take it easy. Peace out.